Okay, brilliant. We'll get cracking. So with all of my presentations, I always do it quite story-led. So we'll start off with a little story. So this is me 2 years ago when I broke my back. So I was stupidly trying to do a backflip on a trampoline when I landed myself quite literally with a broken spine. And as I was lying there face down on this trampoline, I was in the worst pain of my life, screaming, help me, and wiggling my toes to see if my legs were still going to be working. The only thing I could think was, this is going to make a fantastic tweet. Now, usually I pause there because people laugh, but I'm just going to pretend that you guys are all laughing on the end of the screen. So fingers crossed for that. So my name is Hannah, and I have been addicted to social media for about 10 years now. The thing about social is everything about it's designed to be as addictive as possible. So every like, every retweet, every comment that you get, it sends a hit of dopamine directly to your brain, and it makes you feel good. And this feeling is what I absolutely loved about social media from the first moment that I ever discovered it. In 2010, whilst I was in sixth form, I made my first ever social media page, and it was about something that I'm very, very passionate about. It was about sandwiches. So this is me, 18-year-old Hannah, posting on a sandwich page on Facebook with hilarious, again, feel free to laugh if you do want, a hilarious pun, a sandwich that I had a sandwich right now. And as you can see, I could always do with a good sandwich. Well, it went incredibly, incredibly viral. It got 6 likes and 1 comment. And Morgan here said, ha 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 ha, which I was absolutely buzzing about. And although, that's not real virality there, to me, that was 7 real people engaging with the content that I was creating. And I absolutely loved that. I loved social media. I loved the opportunity it gave for me to connect with people and make them laugh. And I wanted to take social media a bit further, but I say unfortunately, I'd actually wanted to be a primary school teacher since the age of 5, since this very day here, which you can see on the left-hand side. This is me on my first ever day of primary school, and the sign in the window says, hip, hip, hooray, Hannah starts school today, which me and my dad had made the night before, but I think my dad was just buzzing to be able to get me out of the house for 18 years and into education and didn't have to deal with me as much anymore. And yeah, I'd wanted to be a teacher from that very day. And when I finished education, although I had this passion for social media that I'd started with my sandwich page, I had to give that up. Really, it wasn't really a career that I could take. And I actually went on to train to become a teacher at Northumbria University. I did a 3-year course in early primary education. But as you can see on the right hand side, I hadn't really given that up as much. I was still passionate about social, and I'd post things on my personal Facebook account. I was actually, if you look at the one on the bottom right hand side, I was actually shocked to find out that The Farmer Wants a Wife is actually now a dating site for lonely farmers. And I would post silly things like this all the time. But yeah, whilst I was training to be a teacher, I hadn't actually given up my social media things. Although it was quite uncouth for a trainee teacher to be growing a sandwich page in our bedroom, I had a secret. And in my spare time, I'd grown hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. Several different pages and several different passion points, and if anyone on my course found out, I would probably have been kicked off. But I had this passion and I couldn't stop it. And I never really thought anything of this. I never thought, that it could become anything other than what it was. That my path was still very much sort of go on to qualify as a teacher and go and teach primary school children. But then I received a direct message off these 2 gentlemen here. So Steve Bartlett and Don McGregor had just left their company Wallpark, which was like an online student notice board, and they understood the power of social. They'd been using social media accounts to drive traffic to their website Wallpark. And I got a direct message, and that basically said, do you want to come and work with us? And I had a decision to make. Should I go and work with these 2 strangers, or should I go down the path which has always been laid out for me since the age of 5? And against every piece of advice that my parents, my friends had given me, instead of becoming a trainee, instead of becoming a teacher, I went and started a company with two strange boys off the internet. And as you can imagine, parents weren't happy at the time. These two at the time had no money, had nothing, but we had an idea, and we had a really good idea that we genuinely believed in. And you fast forward 6 years now, and we're not just making silly sandwich pages or silly Harry Potter pages in our bedroom. We've actually got 80 million followers across platform in several different brands and niches. And we work with some of the biggest brands in the world. So your Superdry, your BBC, your Coca-Cola, your Apples, all come to us for our knowledge of social. And this knowledge and this understanding of social and how people work was actually made me listed in the Vogue list of the 25 most influential women in the country in 2018, and I will still keep pushing that, and I think I've got another year or two to include this in my decks.
Yeah, at least another year you can eke that out for, I think, Hannah.
Yeah. What we've learned over the past 6 years is that social changes every single day. Every single day something changes, and every single day, you know, something can happen that completely fundamentally changes the way that we work. This has been exactly the same for us over the past 6 years. So it's never, the situation now hasn't massively phased us because we're used to it. You know, there's been times throughout the past 6 years where entire platforms have been obliterated. So we grew a massive following on Twitter, for example, and one day the Twitter rules changed about a certain thing we were doing, and our whole entire Twitter network went down. But because we'd adapted and we knew that our model wasn't based on platforms, it was based on our understanding of humans and how people act and creating content for people that they want to engage with, we were able to come out of the other side. And like I said, we've been adapting for 6 years. So that's kind of what I've based this presentation on, is our mindset and how we go about things. So what has changed now? What's changed in this current situation in the past couple of months? Quite a bit changed, as I'm sure you're all aware of. I've broken this down into three categories of what's changed, and this is kind of broad. There's surely more specific things that have changed, but what's changed for the people? So people are at home way more, they're perhaps not working, they might be on furlough, and they're spending more time on social, which we discussed before, missing social interaction, and they're missing that normalcy, missing that normal life that was before. What's changed for work life? Companies are losing money. For us in particular, it's hard to make original content, which I'll go into a bit further down the line. Brands aren't spending as much money. An important one, working from home isn't just working from home, it's surviving from home. So it's quite different. And then there's more time in the day. And this is what I've found as well, because you're not being pulled left, right and center into different meetings in different 5 minutes. Every single meeting is kind of, is meant to be and is thought out. So when you're booking time in, it's specific time. So I'm finding that I've got more free time to lock into tasks. And then on social, so this is what we've noticed on social. Like I mentioned before, there's more eyeballs as people are spending more time on their phones, but more people are creating content, so that kind of balances it out. The platforms are acting accordingly, so there's a lot of things that are changing in the platforms and things that the platforms are accommodating for. And then interestingly, CPMs have dipped significantly, so it's cheaper to pay for ads now. That also has a negative side on publishers who are publishing content but not getting them as much money back. And the thing about all of those changes that I've just mentioned is every single one of them might seem negative, but it poses an opportunity, and it poses an opportunity specifically for social and social media marketing. So I've got 4 examples of how we've capitalized on those changes. This is opportunity 1 that we have noticed. So people in football, they're missing normalcy, they're missing going to the football matches, they're missing everything about football. Number 2, work life. It's hard for us to make original content about football, in particular because there is no football on, there's nothing to really talk about. And And then number 3, in terms of social, there's more eyeballs. So how have we combined these 3 opportunities that have come from the changes to create an opportunity? So I want to introduce you to Sport Best 11. So Sport Best 11 is it's not necessarily a campaign, but it's a content stream that we came up with on Sport, which is our football brand. So Sport has 15 million followers cross-platform, and this is Best 11. So what we did is we wanted to create a football team based on what our fans thought. So fans were voting for who was the best striker, who was the best manager. And this went on for a few weeks. And eventually you got to the quarterfinal. You had people tweeting in, debating who was the best manager. If someone won, people were kicking off. It was exactly the same type of interaction that football fans are used to. That's exactly what they love. They love arguing about football. They love discussing it. They love saying why someone's better than others or why someone's worse than others. And this is what we were creating with this Best 11. And as you can see at the end, these tweets did really, really, really well. We had thousands and thousands of people voting and thousands of people tweeting in, and really kind of restored that feeling of what football brings. What that did for our Twitter account, people are saying that they're seeing downturns in the amount of people who are seeing their content, but because we were able to tap into those opportunities and what people were missing, we've actually seen the best ever impressions on our Sport Twitter account, the best ever profile visits, the best ever mentions. 44,000 mentions in the past 28 days is unheard of, all because of how we were able to tap into those opportunities. Like I said, we restored a bit of normalcy with people debating football, people kind of engaging in what football is and the beautiful game. We created low resource original content. So we couldn't go out and film a football match or film a fan's reaction because we can't do that anymore. But what we could do is create a graphic at home, create a graphic that engages people. And we captured and capitalized on attention. So although there's a lot of noise at the moment on Twitter because people are tweeting all the time, this was something that we knew our fans would want to get involved with. And they did, and that was kind of proven in how well that, alongside other things we're doing across Sport, has done. Opportunity 2 is creation in adversity. So again, looking at the people are at home way more. For us, working is surviving from home. It's not the same as working from home because you don't have everything at your disposal. And then again, on social, there's more eyeballs. What I mean by creation in adversity is, like I said, it's so difficult to go out and create original content. But what we've been able to do is just create content that we can create. So I'm going to show you 2 examples of pieces of content that we've created at home with the resources that we have and content that's done very, very well.
Hoping the information goes to my head better like this.
So these 2 pieces of content were published on Student Problems, which is one of our student brands. It's got 10 million followers across platform, and what we'd usually be posting on Student Problems is funny sketches, memes, lots and lots of original content. But because it's not possible for us to create that super long form, high quality content at the moment, what we've had to go to is stuff that, one, we know our audience likes this type of stuff, and 2, it's easy for people to make at home. So this one on the left was made by Alex, who's head of Student Problems, at home. This one on the right was made by Joe Flinders and his fiance, hanging off the door. But like I said, that kind of non-defeatist attitude. Yes, we can't go out and create content, but we can create content from home with the people who we've got and with our phones. You know, that's the beauty of this day and age, is everyone can be a content creator, and being creative with what we can do as opposed to being sad about what we can't has actually led us to securing a campaign with Vogue based on this, creating content from home, based on this kind of lo-fi videos that we are able to create. That's exactly what brands seemingly are wanting now too, because they're very aware that you can't make an amazing high quality cinematic advert anymore, but what you can make is you can crowdsource from influencers and from people who are working from home. So I'll show you this video.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
We've been tagging every day since lockdown. Guys, just look at my outfit for my virtual day.
I'm super nervous. Oh, I'm a little bit nervous.
And chill on bottom.
Happy lockdown sunset.
Oh, that's so sweet.
This would have been a French date, but they're playing a French date now.
I think it's time I introduced you to someone special. Fifi!
You've got the most cute smile.
Stop it. He's filming a TikTok dance to send to his ex.
Put yourself on mute.
We made French toast together. He's actually really cute. She's playing that drawing game with this guy. Look what he's just drawn. He's definitely not an artist. Oh my god.
It's so much better than I expected.
All that's missing is you right here.
Mm-hmm.
So that opportunity came off of the back of us creating content from home, like the examples that I showed. For the people, we were able to make home style relatable content. We made it however we could, and we won. We weren't defeatist about the situation. And again, we cut through the noise to garner mass views. Those student problems examples got millions of views. That Vogue example, I don't think that's gone live yet, but we would hope that it would do the same. Creation in adversity is all just about being creative with the resource that you have, and like I said, not being sad about the resource that you don't. Opportunity 3, testing and iterating. This is probably the most lucrative's the wrong word. Probably the best use of our time at the moment. So this situation, it's not going to happen again. If we embrace the opportunity that it's given us, we can get some real good learnings out of it, and we have. Again, people are spending more time on social. There's more time during the day for people like myself and people like my team to be making stuff and testing things. And the platforms are acting accordingly. Like I said, they've kind of changed the way that they're working. Now, I'll just show you some examples of things that we've been able to test in this time. So this is something that we've noticed, and this is across the board. So we've tested this a few times. Everyone's probably noticed the upturn in lives, lives across Facebook, lives across Instagram. Everyone is doing more lives, and the platforms are actually rewarding you for that. We tested this on Facebook, which is premiering. So what a premiere is it's where you can publish a video that's not actually live, but initially it will go live. So this is an example of one that we pushed as a live, but it wasn't actually a live video. I've just got a little, you can kind of get the picture. I'll not say the whole thing. This is a 6-minute video. 6-minute video that was published straight out as a live for those first 6 minutes. And what Facebook's doing is, because it's pushing lives more and more, because that's the way that things are going, you gain the advantage of the live by premiering it. So as you can see, our distribution score was actually 2.2 times more than usual, and we wouldn't have seen that if we hadn't have premiered it. So that's just a little nugget that we found across the board. We've done this on several videos, and we found every single time that if we premiere longer videos, they'll get that initial spike and that initial boost.
And Hannah, does a premiere have to be? It doesn't have to be live, then, is what you're saying?
No, it's not a live video at all. No. So this is a video that we edited. It's not when we publish it through through Creator Studio, you just, instead of pressing publish now, you press premiere. It'll send a notification to, I think it's most of your followers, saying that you're going to premiere a video at X time, and then basically people who want to watch it then can go and watch it then, but it'll then, after it's finished the first loop, so once that video got to 6 minutes, it would just appear as a regular video on the timeline.
Got you.
This one, potentially quite obvious. We've noticed this more and more. TikTok is the place to be. Now, if you're not on TikTok, then what are you doing? It's reached 2 billion downloads. And even just kind of looking at the social space at the moment, everyone's aunt and their mum are on TikTok. And that's maybe a good thing and a bad thing, but if you're not on TikTok now, you're too late, really. We kind of noticed this maybe about 8 months ago, and we got on TikTok. And as you can see on the left-hand side, these are two of our pages. So CMO's on 1.6 million followers. Student Problems is on 734,000 followers. And we know that TikTok is doing fantastically well. We're actually launching 3 more brands on there this week. Fantastic thing about TikTok is it's kind of similar to the way Facebook was a few years ago, where reach is quite easy to get. Content can be quite sporadic, and you can just test things on there without any kind of negative downside. If you were to test something on Facebook and it doesn't do well, it'll kind of damage the algorithm. But if you test something on TikTok and it doesn't do very well, you can test something else. And brands are starting to move on to TikTok too, because of how much it's kind of blowing up, and blowing up even more so because of lockdown. Prime Video UK is one of our clients that we've been able to secure. So we manage this TikTok page. It's passed over 1 million views. It's not been going very long. It's already on 11,000 followers. TikTok is something that, regardless of who you are, regardless of, where you work, even if it's maybe not right for your brand to be on there, you should be on there, because the learnings that you can garner from there, the content kind of goes across platform as well. I mean, I see TikToks all the time on Twitter. It's a place that you need to be learning about as much as possible.
That's a good way to phrase it. So even if you don't think your brand necessarily belongs on TikTok, you should be on TikTok, because you can then repurpose that content. Because like you, I've seen people using it on LinkedIn even. Yeah, 100%.
It's the next big thing. I mean, it's already the big thing of the moment. Yeah. It's like if on 2012 you should have been on Twitter regardless of if your brand was or wasn't. And you should be on Facebook regardless of if your brand is or isn't, because it's in a very embryonic stage at the moment, and it's only going to get more and more complex, and more brands are going to start rushing towards it. So if you get there early, you'll capitalize. They've got other things kind of in the pipeline, a more robust kind of ad system, and I would guess that CPMs and things like that will continue to be lower than the likes of Facebook for quite a while. So it's a really interesting place to be at the moment, where you'll probably get quite a lot of bang for your buck in terms of what you invest.
And would you say, just got a quick question here, Jade says, would you say TikTok is relevant for B2B businesses?
Yes, I think there's been quite a few on there that have done well. I've seen a lot of agencies get on there to front their agency, to kind of showcase their personality. I think it can be. I suppose it depends on what you want your brand to look like. But like I said, there's a lot of learnings that come from that platform, regardless of if you create a branded account.
Nice, thank you.
And then innovative live streams. So we have been known for innovative live streams for a long time. This video here kind of showcases how we came up with how we do lives. And obviously at the moment, like I mentioned, live is massive. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't just doing lives for the sake of doing lives, but doing lives in the way that we've always done lives, with a different spin, and getting people as involved as possible. So I'll play this video, which is maybe about 1.5 years old, but it kind of gives the premise for where we've taken our live streams now that they're more important than ever. Ooh, that's gone full screen.
Under pressure. Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling. I know we got to gotta love the life that we live in. Sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah. I get a good feeling, yeah.
So yeah, this was when we launched our first ever Instagram live stream. Now we've been doing live streams that involve the users and dynamically change throughout the live depending on what goes on. So if you can't see from there, if there's a question and there's hundreds of people answering the question, our software will pick one person at random and then put their profile picture back into the live stream when they win for the next question. So they know that they've won. And this has been something that we've been doing for a long time. So when lockdown occurred, live was the first thing that we wanted to do. This is the Student Problems Pub Quiz, as you can see. We have thousands and thousands of people involved and commenting on the lives. Again, we're kind of bringing that normalcy back to people. Pub quizzes are a part of normalcy that people want to be involved with, and also that kind of social interaction. And this here is an example of when we've been able to do that with another client. So this is with JD Sports, where we did a live quiz for the first time, bringing in actual people. So we had H, the rapper there, same principle, but kind of taking it to that next level, really engaging people. This had over 1,000 people concurrently watching the live, and I think it was about 30,000 people that it ended on. So what we've done with Opportunity 3, we went where the people are. The people are on social at the moment, and we want to provide them with as much normalcy as possible, with as much as much of their normal lives as possible. We've used what we know and working at home as an opportunity to test. So all of those things that we're doing are tests across our network. We've got more time to be testing and to find out what works, and then putting new things in place very, very quickly. So that's like the Premier's example. We tested that, we had that out within a day. And then we're giving the platforms what they want, and we're winning from it. So the platforms want lives. They want people to be doing these things that we've kind of worked out, and then we'll give it to the platform. So TikTok wants people and publishers on there. If we go on there as a publisher, we get rewarded for that. And it's the same with Facebook. If Facebook wants more lives on the platform, they'll give you more reach if you kind of play into their hands a bit. And then Opportunity 4, people can't go anywhere. People can't go out, people can't go to watch sports, whatever it might be. Again, people are missing normalcy. Companies are losing money because obviously people can't go to the pub, pubs are losing money, restaurants are losing money, whatever it might be. And then the thing about social that I've touched on here is CPMs are down, and how you can use that as an opportunity to bring money into your business. So this is the first example of trying to return normalcy. So Revs to Cuba, Revs obviously is shut at the moment. A lot of their staff are on furlough. They're not able to host nights. They're not able to open their bars. Obviously a relatively devastating situation for them when you think about it. Now this is something that we've done with Revs to return normalcy to people's lives, to have people enjoying, enjoying alcohol responsibly. In a nice environment. So this is an idea that we went to them with, which was a rum tasting night. So people would actually pay to go to this rum tasting night, which was hosted on Instagram. And what you'd get like a bottle of rum. And as you can see here on the right hand side, it did so well the first time. It sold 1,100 real life tickets, where you'd get a rum. It sold that many tickets the first time that we did it again. And that was a combination of those things, that people want that normalcy, but also that CPMs were down. So the return on ad spend here was phenomenal. I'm not sure 100% off the top of my head what it was, but it was absolutely phenomenal. We capitalized on those low CPMs to boost this on Facebook, and people, like I said, real life people have signed up, and we've been able to make money for Revs, which, you know, that they're realistically not in a nice situation at the moment.
That's very cool. I like that.
Yeah, we were really happy with that. Really happy. And then this one, I'm not actually allowed to say what it is, but this is an example of something that we've got in the works at the moment. But I'm not allowed to give any specific details.
Okay.
But basically, we know that the Olympics is postponed. This is the first time in living memory that it's been postponed. But we are working with a brand at the moment to bring that back, in a very different way. You'll be able to see in a couple of weeks' time what we're actually doing. But this is something that we've wanted to do across the board. So it's similar with the sport, for example, that I said before, where we're trying to kind of restore that normalcy. We've done it across our gaming brand with Rallycross. We've had like a gaming version of that, and it's kind of giving people what they're missing, and really driving value. I wish I could go into this one more, but because it's not live, I'm not allowed. You can see how we've kind of taken the situation and taken it as a positive and as an opportunity to do some really amazing work.
There's clearly a big opportunity there, isn't there, to fill a gap. So
100%. 100%. So just from opportunity 4, like I mentioned, we're trying to restore as much normalcy as possible. We've made money for brands who can't operate how they used to operate, and we've took advantage of low ad CPMs to get a huge return on ad spend. And that kind of sums up this talk. But what I want to leave you with is, change happens on social every single day, regardless of the situation. When this is over, it's going to continue to change. So always look for the opportunity in adversity, and that's how you'll win. See everything as a positive and as an opportunity to do something amazing, and that's where you'll win on social every single time. So thank you very much. That's my email there if anyone wants to reach out, and that's my Twitter and Instagram handle. If you fancy it, feel free to get in touch.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Hannah. I'm going to bring you, let's downsize that one. There we go. So you're back on screen. So very interesting. So loads you could kind of dig into there, but I will go to the questions and not hog your time myself. So let's go to did the relevant one. Where are we? David did a good question. So how true would you say it is to categorize platforms by generation, e.g. Facebook for older users, boomers and Gen X, Instagram for millennials, TikTok for Gen Z, etc.?
Not true at all.
Great answer. Didn't expect anything less.
I think some people can look at it like that, but it's almost just the way that platforms are perceived. So, for example, on our Facebook, although you might think that it is just for boomers and for older people, we find that the majority of our accounts actually have 18 to 24 as the highest engaged and highest followed. I think it's almost like with Facebook as an example, people will go on there, they'll scroll, they'll watch videos, but they won't tell their mates that they spend time on Facebook, even though they damn well do. And similar with TikTok, it was kind of, initially it was this kind of young audience. I think especially over the past 2 months, everyone's mums on there. Like you've got mums and dads making TikTok dances. My friends have all started to get on TikTok now as well. And like I said, I'm 28. So it's not just the young people anymore. Although that's a big pocket of TikTok, I don't think it's right to kind of categorize whole entire platforms as just one age group. In every single platform, you've got loads and loads of segments of audiences, and it's how you tap into the audience that you want to tap into.
Yeah, it's like my girls are 11 and 13, and their first experience basically is TikTok. You know, all they do is dancing, so it's just doing those kind of videos. And then I saw last week a friend of mine posted about how proud she was about her son, and her son's like 15. He's got like 1.6 million followers on TikTok, and is now making money because of brands approaching him and all this kind of thing. So it's super interesting, isn't it? Okay, Propagate says, please explain how you can do a live but not live on Facebook. I think you explained that with the
so that's premiering, which is different. You can do a live but not live as well, fully live. So you can pre-record a live, and all you have to do, I think the program is called OBS. It's basically a live streaming like platform where you basically input the video, and it's quite complex. I would feel free to email me and I'll loop you into Isaac, who's our head of live. But essentially you can pre-record a live stream, upload it through OBS, which is the live streaming software, and then that streams to Facebook as a live. So you can do pre-recorded live streams, and OBS is also how we do or whatever software it is. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but that software or similar software, what we've made is the one where we can do like interactive live streams. So where we've got a pre-recorded animation in the background or whatever it might be of the quiz with the questions coming up, and then we can real-time live put people's faces in who've won the prizes. Nice. It's a specific software and a specific way to do it, but I'm more than happy to introduce whoever asked that question, Isaac, who would be able to give a much better answer than I would be able to give.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, with the lives? Like I've had, multiple business owners on here, entrepreneurs and CEOs saying that their businesses started doing live. Like I had on here last week, Double Dutch Drinks sisters who do like the tonics, and they were saying like in their immediate space, there's like 6 competitors all doing lives, all on a Thursday, all at like 6 o'clock. On how to make a cocktail or something like that. And it's like how you can make that a little bit more interesting for people. Cool. Let's have a quick look. So a couple of specific questions. So Chris says, TikTok and social media in general are very cool, but I'm struggling to build an engaged audience in a traditional sector, which is construction. So Chris, if you think like when I spoke to Chris before, he said, think grand designs like Channel 4 program, those kind of houses. Any tips? Because clearly immediately like his market has pressed like a massive pause on people wanting those kind of houses, and he put out a competition initially, I remember, for kids to design their dream home, and they would get I think something like Amazon gift vouchers, and maybe the parents got the drawings for their dream home. But yeah, any thoughts on Chris, you can obviously message privately, but any thoughts that kind of jump into your head with regards to building engaged audience on social for that kind of?
I think the easiest way to start out building an audience is finding good content that you want to post. So what we do a lot of is licensed content. So there's content out there that your audience would be interested in, and what you might want to do is find a video of an amazing house, ask for permission for that for your page, and then put your own kind of story over the top of it. Audience building is difficult, very difficult. Now it's different per platform. So why I'm talking about like licensing videos is because Facebook in particular will want video on that platform to even get anywhere. Twitter, it depends on what your purpose is. A lot of Twitter purposes is for kind of customer service. So if that's where your business is, use your Twitter as a customer service. Instagram is absolutely perfect for something like that. Again, license images of amazing houses, and then post them on Instagram, and that'll foster an audience. Like, I'd follow that. It's interesting. There's loads of little tips and tricks as well. So Instagram, make sure you use all your hashtags because that boosts your discoverability. IGTV at the moment is absolutely booming. So we're seeing maybe like 10 times, maybe not 10 times, maybe about 5 times more views on an IGTV post than we are on a regular post. So there's loads and loads of different hacks to build that audience up. Paid, if you want specific targets. If you've got a little budget, you can do a likes campaign to get that audience up, but you have to have your content there first. You have to have a reason for people to come to your platform before you start boosting stuff into paid. But yeah, it's a very kind of wide question that is difficult to answer within the space of a minute. But yeah, find your content. If you can't produce content, you can license content. Use little tips and tricks to hack your way up. There's again, I'm more than happy to just send you over some little kind of hacks depending on what your company is. But yeah, find your content and go from there.
I had a chap I interviewed before last year called Brendan Kane. I don't know if you've come across him. He did ran the social campaigns for the likes of Taylor Swift, Rihanna, built up their audiences. And when you look at his social media, he was using similar to, and I guess I was trying to work out how he'd do it. So he'd have a post and he'd be talking about a particular subject, but he'd be using like footage from like really famous films or music videos and stuff. And I just thought, how's he allowed to do that? Are you allowed to take something like that?
Probably not.
Right.
No. You're not. I mean, if he's got permission for it, then yes. If he hasn't, then no. Anything that you post that's not yours, make sure you've got full and utter permission for it. And then in particular for us at the moment, we're focused on creating original stuff. That's more difficult at the moment, but that's our focus. When it's not possible, we license stuff. And then on Facebook in particular, when you do license stuff, then they are cracking down on making sure that you editorialize that. So what I mean by that is, if you have licensed something, if you've got permission for it, you have to add your own voice over the top, whether that's through a voiceover or like animation text slides coming across explaining what's going on or explaining what your brand thinks about that. So yeah, that's probably depends what if he has permission, then that's fine, but we would steer clear.
Sounds like a wise move. So let's have a quick look. Where are we? How would you use TikTok for acupuncture therapists, that kind of thing?
In loads of ways. Acupuncture, that type of thing's going massive at the moment. So it could be just kind of showcasing a specific therapy, whether that be filming on your phone and acupuncture down the back. A lot of people actually find that relaxing and interesting. I've seen chiropractors do well. When chiropractors are like the cracks that they get when they adjust people's spines, they go viral. Acupuncture and therapy, absolutely. I've seen a lot of wellness things go viral. Joe, who you saw before hanging off a door, he's actually got a TikTok where he does yoga, and him and his fiance did a Venga Boys yoga pose where they were like yogaing the Venga Boy. I'm explaining it badly, but basically, if you can just showcase what you do, showcase what you're passionate about, you're bound to build an audience, and be creative with it. There's a lot of people who watch therapies, acupuncture for relaxation. You've got ASMR, which is this whole other thing, which it could come under, which is watching videos and sounds for relaxation. People will watch, simulated head massages, things like that. So just be creative with it. Try a couple of things. Put a few videos out of you doing your therapy, or you giving someone a head massage, or whatever it might be, and test and see what comes from it.
I think that's, you know, one of the takeaways from what you said is that at the moment there's so much opportunity just to test, dip your toe in the water and see what's worth it. Yes, question, David, that's a good question. So I had a few people ask me similar ones with regards to podcasting via YouTube at the moment. So with Instagram, Facebook, TikTok available, are YouTube channels still worth developing? So I saw Stephen put out something like there's now a billion active YouTube users, some stat like that, and I thought, wow, unless you're an influencer already, or you are some kind of sporting or music celebrity, is it worth actually developing a channel on YouTube to get above the noise?
YouTube, it is still worth it. However, the bang for your buck that you get on YouTube is going to be so much less than TikTok, so much less than Instagram TV. You can spend days and days and days making a YouTube video, and it's not going to go anywhere near as far as spending a minute on a TikTok. And it depends on the purpose. The thing is with YouTube, unless you've got a phenomenal idea, you're not going to go anywhere. Very rarely at the moment does a YouTube channel kind of blow up, and when it does, it's because it's absolutely awe-inspiring. There's one recently that's blown up of a father and a daughter who have amazing voices. They sound like they've fallen, like they're out of Disney films, and they sing duets together. That's phenomenal. Of course, that's going to blow up. And still, they've got maybe 300,000 subscribers, which in the YouTube stratosphere is nothing really.
Yeah.
And they're astounding. So it depends if you want to put your resource into something that might not get much back. You're way more likely, especially as a brand, to get more back from Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok.
Yeah.
But doesn't go to say that YouTube's not valuable. It's just a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I suppose it's worth being on there as part of your strategy, just given them the search engine possibilities and all that kind of stuff. So loads of people saying thank you very much indeed, everybody, for joining us today. So I suppose a couple of takeaways for me is that, as I mentioned earlier, testing and iterating, picking one thing, testing, iterating, get good at it before moving on to the next one there. And I like that idea, what you're saying about restoring normalcy, so giving people what they're missing. I think that's a really interesting point that you made there. Just to kind of round up, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, Hannah, what specific platforms are you getting rewarded at the moment? So you said, for example, and I've noticed this, I've never done lives before, and we've literally been doing 2 or 3 lives every day, and using what was it called, StreamYard to stream live into. But yeah, so Facebook getting massively rewarded for doing lives. What would you say, is it the same with Instagram? What would you say about LinkedIn, for example? I know a lot of the people here, probably LinkedIn is their first reference point when it comes to social media. I
think LinkedIn, you will get rewarded for lives. LinkedIn is still video, like any video. Right. I think if you can do a good live on LinkedIn, then you'll get rewarded. But I do see a lot of people going live on LinkedIn for the sake of it, which I don't think is right. TikTok, you get rewarded for whatever you hit the nail with. It can be very, dependent. Instagram, at the moment, what we're seeing most reward for is IGTV. Like I said, unbelievable amounts. We saw the difference in a graph from not posting IGTV to posting IGTV, and we had reach, and it just skyrocketed. That's 100% where we're getting the most bang for our buck at the moment on Instagram. Facebook is live, but then premiering. Also on Facebook, cross-posting as well, which is where you put a post on 2 different pages, but it's cross-posted, so it's not like one video then another video. It's like one video posted on 2. We're getting more reach there. Facebook's a little bit of a minefield at the moment, as it usually is. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, good. And if people, again, you've got your details up there, which I will focus the screen on now so people can see that again. There we go. But with regards to the work you guys do, and you kind of 6 years into the journey, and obviously doing incredibly well with it, what kind of business owners, brands are you looking to work with now, and what kind of stage of the journey? Do you work with startups? Do you just work with the big brands? Do you have like different levels that people can work with you on?
We work with a combination. I think the majority of people who we work with now are the big brands, just because obviously they have the bigger budgets, and we have a large staff body to be able to service that. But we definitely still work with startups at the moment. In recent weeks we've worked with startups. It all depends on how seamlessly we can work together, and it does ultimately depend on budget. We do have a minimum spend, but if it's something that we're super passionate about, then that means that we're more inclined to work with that person. Like charities we'll sometimes work with for free, because we've dedicated £1 million of our time to charitable causes. So it all depends on loads of things. But in terms of like giving advice and stuff, I'm always happy to have a look over something, or anything like that.
Awesome, as always. Hannah, thank you so much for your time. I think that's answered. Again, if we didn't get time to answer your question, do apologise. We are now at 3 o'clock, so I will let Hannah close off her day. Another cup of tea there.
Sounds good.
Read birthday cards. All right, well, thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Those of you watching the replay, I will add in some links here as well, so people can see that, and then it will get taken to the YouTube channel as well, so people get to see that there. So yeah, without further ado, I will say thank you very much indeed, Hannah, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
See you.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.